Thanks for joining the session today. We're going to be talking about data ops and data observability, and we're going to be going over some demos of how observability can play into an example data ops workflow. It may not be the exact one you may be dealing with today, but we're going to go through that. But before we get going here, I also want to do some polls. So Ariel's got some polls lined up. I think we're going to do. But the first poll is what is your top data quality problem within your warehouse? Is this an issue with you all? And especially if you're using DBT for doing any types of transformations in your warehouse, just give it a little thought here about like what's actually one of your biggest problems, because we'll be talking about some data quality problems today here as well. So we'll give a little bit of time for people to answer that. And we have another poll too coming up. Let's see about that one as well. Let's see here. Okay. Well, it doesn't look like anyone's. Ariel, if you want to go to the next poll or hit see if there's any results here yet. I don't know if there's any results that we have yet. Okay, so let's maybe go to this poll. Let's see if we have here. So, on average, how long does it take you to resolve data quality issues once they're detected? Is it 1 hour to 4? Is it 4 to 8? Is it more than 8 hours? Is it around 1 day, 2 days, weeks? You know, how long does it take you actually to resolve data quality issues when they're detected? Maybe people are coming to coming from different sessions to come to this one. So okay, so it looks like we have a shy audience here. We'll stop. We'll go ahead and stop doing the polls as we get going. So okay, so let me go ahead and jump into our presentation today, and let me go ahead and share here. I'll go ahead and share my entire screen, and we'll jump into the presentation. So, like I said, as Ariel kind of mentioned to me, my name's Ryan. I'm a product leader over at IBM Databand, specifically under the data and AI space with IBM Databand for observability. So, kind of a startup junkie. I was really into a couple of companies that you see here on the side, from the DevOps space all the way to cybersecurity space. I got one wife, three girls, and one dog, and I love coffee and superheroes. So if you're ever in Atlanta, Georgia, hit me up. Happy to hang out with you. So I'm going to go over a quick overview of what data ops is versus DevOps. We'll talk about some data quality challenges we're seeing in the space. I'll get into data ops plus observability and kind of what we can see an actual scenario kind of play out there. Then we'll get into an actual product demo, which will be sort of the main event for today, and we'll end with some Q&A. So when people ask questions, they usually get to this part around what is data ops, what is data observability, what is DevOps, where's all this kind of come together? It's kind of confusing, right? Well, it's not that confusing. If you look at kind of what DevOps is, and some of you on the call today are probably either in a DevOps environment, or you have a combination of software engineering skills that you've transferred over to maybe the data space. But really what you're going for in the DevOps space is you're looking at application and software development. And that's a no-brainer, but it's really about this development and testing that's across this value chain to make sure you are delivering in a continuous way the applications you have at a pace where you're not also destroying any of the let's say quality of the product when it's actually delivered. And comes to the observing or learnings that you get from DevOps, it's really around learning and monitoring within the space of software-driven innovation. Same thing, if you take the kind of the same thing that you have here and apply it to data ops, it's kind of similar. What you're doing is not just application software development, you're looking at producing high quality data that's readily available for you to use fast. And there's that other word there that we'll be talking about today, which is continuous. This is really about continuous learnings while monitoring and optimizing data pipelines. And that's important because if you look at the full data ops information architecture, the main goal is really to deliver this trusted, high quality data. And there's a lot of things in here we could talk about. We could talk about governance, data storage, infrastructure, version control. I don't have time for that today because I only got like 20 minutes. We're really going to be talking about data quality and observability, specifically in this testing and monitoring space. So Why is this a problem? Well, if you look at what people are saying, these are all from executives. From Capgemini did a report, also Corneum Intelligence did a report back in 2021. This problem of data quality is really prevalent within a data ops workflow. 82% data quality say that they have data quality concerns that represent barriers of entry to data products. And then 73% said that they're unhappy with their data quality. This is a problem within the actual space. So why is this so complex? Well, DevOps is a complex assembly line. If you look at taking from your sources all the way through your data lakes, data warehouses, and then at the access layer, there's a lot of people involved with this, from data engineering teams, analyst teams, and also being consumed by a business user, right? So all this is going on. And that would be really simple if it was this very simple process, but it's not. You have a constant you'd say assembly line of orchestration, transformation, development, testing that hits all these different areas. And when data breaks, it really comes out of nowhere. It hits you like this a lot of times. Oh, there was a schema problem. Oh, there was a pipeline problem. All that kind of leads us to go, okay, you know what? We really want to make sure we really need to get a handle of this to monitor this DevOps lifecycle to make sure that when there is an issue with our Airflow jobs or DBT jobs or issue in Snowflake or Dremio or issue at the access layer, that we're able to catch that issue right away, because it's very complex and it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to, even though it's a complex issue, doesn't mean we don't have some reporting and analysis that could be baked into it to make it a lot easier. So what does all this lead to data observability? Well, when you think about what data observability is, without it, it's kind of this reactive approach to data issues. You have issues that are resolved, they're found way too late in the process. You have this explosion of noise that could happen where people are telling you, hey, there's an issue, but we don't actually know where it is. A lot of times they're reported by data consumers, or worse, they're not even really discovered. So this is a problem. Without data observability, this data ops process is a very, very reactive. And recently, there was a report that came out around data observability and how it strengthens data ops. And if you look at this report from Eckerson Group, really it boils down to two areas: data quality and data pipeline quality. So data quality, looking at the data sets and tables within where the data is landing, and then data pipelines as it's actually in transit. And the whole point of this is really to have a layer of observability and monitoring over this data ops process so that you can basically catch bad things before that impact your business. And that's exactly what data observability is meant to do. So you move from this reactive approach to this continuous detection and resolution of issues by being able to notify issues in real time by collecting standard metadata and getting visibility into all of the data motions, either in motion or at rest, so that at the end of the result, you're able to detect earlier, resolve faster, and deliver trustworthy data to your business. And that's really where Databand comes in. That's what we're going to be talking about today, and how this actually helps you deliver reliable and more trusted data with a continuous approach. And I always like to explain it this way before I actually get to the demo, which is the way that Databand works is it's basically a continuous monitoring solution within your data pipelines, very similar to how things go on in Formula One. Formula One, the whole goal of Formula One is to like drive that car as fast as you can and also not crash it to win the race, right? That's pretty no-brainer. That's what you're supposed to be able to do, right? Well, in Formula One, what you have is you have all these different alerting systems that go on within the car that radio back to the cockpit that will tell the driver and the crew pit, hey, you need to slow down. Hey, you need to take that curve a little tighter next time. Hey, you're running low on fuel. Hey, you need to pull over. We need to fix your tires. All these things are continuously going on within that car and alerting when there's an issue. So they know exactly when they need to slow down and fix something. And that's exactly what Databand is doing. It's similar to that Formula One racing crew. What we're doing is we want engineering teams and data teams to go as fast as they can. But by connecting into your different platforms, we'll be able to tell you exactly when an issue goes on, tell you where you need to go fix it. And then you have more confidence in the actual data quality in your system. So how Databand works, we automatically collect your metadata. So if you're using something like DBT or Airflow for orchestration and transformation, or you're sending stuff over into Dremio, or you're using Snowflake right now, well, we collect all that data and then we profile it based off of a historical baseline to say, hey, you know what, you have some issues with your pipeline that shouldn't be acting a certain way. We alert you on those anomalies. And then at the end of the day, we tell you the root cause of it and where to go fix it. So that's basically what's going on. And what I'm going to show in a demo today is a demonstration of a process where an Airflow job is going to be interacting with a DBT job that's also pushing data and moving data in a Redshift environment. So this is the issues we're going to be looking at today, and I'll show you how the alerting and resolution capabilities of Databand are in action. So let's go ahead and hop over to the demo. Exit out here. Okay, so this is Databand, and what you'll notice is this is a job that I have lined up here. I'm not going to go into this right now because I'm going to come back to it after I go into looking at some of the alerts we have in here. So like I was saying, if you have a very complex environment, lots of different tools in your environment, maybe you have, like we talked about earlier, you've got Airflow set up, you've got DBT, you may have other coded ETL pipeline jobs, a lot of stuff going on within your modern data stack, right? Well, in Databand, what you can do is after you've collected that metadata, you can actually go in here and add in all these different alert types that are going to tell you when something goes wrong. So for over here, I've got 18 alerts that are set up. Some are data quality alerts. Some are based off the DB test alert that we'll be going into. Some are around a run duration alert. So for example, if your pipeline was running longer than it should have, or if it never actually reached the warehouse at a certain time, all these alerts you can set up within Databand and associate them to receivers like Slack or email or something like that, where you can actually alert people right away when there is an issue. So you can remove all that noise within your process today of being alerted on stuff you don't care about and actually isolate it to the areas where you really, really care about. So just a quick overview. These are all alerts you can set up within Databand. Also, we have views into all your different pipelines and runs of those pipelines to tell you what's failing, what's being successful, and all the alerts are associated with those things. So that's a quick high-level overview of the alerting capabilities, and then the overview of how we can pull all this metadata into Databand to alert you on any data incident that's going on within your environment. So now let's go back to the example that we have today. So in this example, this is the DAG view that I'm pulling in here. And what you're seeing is this is an Airflow job that's connected into a DBT process. So again, Airflow is one of the most popular orchestration tools out there today. And most commonly, we have customers that use it within DBT. So what's going on here is that we have a Airflow job that's going to be kicking off a DBT job. And in that DBT job, you have basically two things going on. You have runs and you also have tests. So within here, if I'm a analytics engineer or a data engineer that is reliant upon making sure that a orchestration job is kicked off, the model is running successfully, and then we have tests that are going to kick off of that, so that at the end result, I can actually give a report over into Redshift. I want to make sure that all this is going well, and I don't just blindly commit this over into a consumer that's going to be experiencing the report. So in this close request here, what you can see is we're pulling in all of the data interactions in the code that's behind this that's coming from DBT. This is great because if you look over into DBT, a lot of times it's a little bit harder to understand exactly where certain issues are going on within DBT. We can see right away that we have this a successful run that was executed, a part of the actual model here. But if you go to the test, what you can see is that we have a few tests that have ran, but then we have some failures. And what's great about this is I can click on each one of these tests here and I can see the SQL that's behind all of this. So I can see that here's a test here that we were looking at and making sure that there was unique key was not null. And then what we're also doing is we have a bunch of other tests that are being executed outside of that to make sure that the model that's being produced is actually the model we want to get pushed over into that report. I can also see the different schemas behind this. And if I had anything that went around with the schema, I could set up alerts around that schema to tell me if there was possibly, let's say, a column that was removed or added, or there was something going on within that schema. I could have alerts set up for that as well. And then what you also notice is if I look over into the logs tab here, sorry, let me go to these guys right there. you can see that we have all the same logs that we have over in our DBT cloud environment. So the same view that you will see in DBT, which is right over here, this is our example that we have set up, is the same exact information you're going to see over in Databand. So if I'm an engineer or an analytics engineer, I can see exactly where the problem is within my DBT environment within Databand. And I'm also seeing it alongside of all of my other orchestration jobs like Airflow, which is great. So going back over here, let me go back to this DBT job process here. I can also see that for this test here that was actually broken, it also will capture all the interactions of this. So here I can see that there was a not null test that was associated with this particular column, or sorry, with this particular model. The issue failed. I can see exactly what the warehouse was, which is going into Redshift, and I can also see the inputs and outputs. So all the information is right there for me to see. And all of this was basically tied to an alert that we had set up within DBT. So this is basically the overall view of what's going on in our process. So you can see here, debug it, see the SQL of this behind it, and quickly resolve it. But all of this is basically useless without getting an alert. So if I go back over to the alert definition screen, what you can see is if I go and search by, let's say DBT test, I can see that alert that we just talked about was fired on a certain time and a certain date, and it was actually sent over to the exact person that I want to take a look at. So this is a more of a alert overview screen that at times people will be brought to right away. You get an alert that your test failed. You can jump right into here. You can see the schema that's behind it, just like we showed earlier. I can see all the code that's behind this particular DBT job, and I can also see the test query that's here as well. So that same information I just showed you on the other screen is also here. So we can see the query, we can see the error message, and then again, those same logs we can also see down below. This is all really powerful information because if I'm trying to jump around different systems within Databand, I'm able to see everything that I want to know about this particular DBT job process, the runs, and also the tests all together in one spot, also aligned back to the orchestration job within Airflow. So this is a really awesome viewpoint where you can see all of that. And then getting back to our example we gave in a DataOps workflow, all of the data quality and monitoring and testing that you're doing is all together in one place now. So you don't have to be jumping back and forth between different systems to understand exactly what's going on there and figuring out how to resolve it. So that's a quick demonstration that I walked over just to show you all. If you all want to see more information or see more videos, demonstrations with different technologies, go on over to databand.ai and then go to the demo center over here, and you can see a bunch of different videos that we have, both integrating with DBT, Airflow, Redshift, Snowflake, all the tools you may be interested into today. That's all over here where you can go and see exactly how Databand is set up.